Everything is a scene. You probably heard that before from Godot people. Today we explore this statement and find out what scenes are and why everything in Godot is related to one. Godot has a very strong architectural concept of composition, that is, packaging and repackaging things for reusability. So let's think about a coffee shop. A coffee shop has ingredients like beans, milk, or sugar, or even like the coffee cups that they give you. They put that together with a recipe, some kind of guideline that has a good balance between the ingredients that produces a decent cup of coffee that you're willing to buy and come back for it. And then there's the coffee shop process itself of taking the order, putting the coffee together, the machine, its functioning, the people, the process, the management, and all the rest from when you enter the coffee shop to when you leave. So Godot kind of implements such a process in a similar way with nodes, scenes, and the scene tree. Nodes are the smallest building blocks in Godot. They're like game objects in Unity. Nodes exist for absolutely everything. For example, 2D sprites, a camera, animation players, CSG boxes that I made a video about earlier. And then there are scenes. Scenes are trees of nodes. You have one root node and you have multiple child nodes. One scene has multiple nodes, tree structures. And these scenes can be reused. For example, you make an enemy that consists of a body and maybe a turning head and a weapon. And each one of those things are scenes and are being combined into the larger enemy scene. You may reuse the weapon for different kinds of enemies. And then you use the enemies and the players and you attach them to different levels, and the levels you attach them to the world scene. So there are scenes within scenes within scenes reused over and over again. So everything is a scene. And whenever you ask yourself the question, well, this is reusable, I'm repeating myself, should I make a scene out of it? Well, then the answer to that is obviously yes, you should definitely make a scene. And then there's the scene tree. The scene tree is not a scene. The scene tree is a class, the default game loop class. We won't get into much detail what a game loop class is. Just think of it like a gigantic while loop that keeps iterating and thus implements the rules of your game, checks the inputs, refreshes things, runs the code, and does that many times, like 60 times a second or something like that. It does important jobs like physics, input, refreshing objects, maintaining state like loading and changing scenes. And just like the coffee shop keeps processing customers, creating cups of coffee, taking payments. So the scene tree is the central engine to the game engine. So everything is a scene. Here I have a world scene in Godot that has a platform CSG object, and I have 3 different instances of scenes: a shelf, a potted plant, and a coffee package. They are represented down here. I have a world TSCN file, and I have a coffee package, potted plant, and a shelf scene file, TSCN file. They look like this. So basically information about nodes and their arrangements, their position, transformations, and so on. So I have here my coffee package, and when I click next to the movie icon, it opens the coffee package scene, and I see I have a clip, a coffee package, and a label with information on the right. I can, for example, change this by saying I want to kind of change the label, make it a bit smaller, and save that. Then go back to my world, and I can actually see my label has changed. So now when I duplicate this, I can make as many as I want of those coffee packages. I can also child scene these packages and say, well, I want to make them part of shelf. I want to make the potted plant part of shelf. And when I rotate my shelf, now everything rotates with it. So everything is a scene, and everything can be kind of manipulated into these tree structures. That makes it very, very handy. So that's all for today. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment, hit that notification bell, and I see you soon.